Students, this is your causal analysis and proposal research paper. This needs to be 7 to 9 pages and is worth 200 points, not 100 points. Here's an overview of what I'm looking for this. It consists of 2 parts, secondary research, which is outside sources, and your research paper. This research paper must include the following. It has to have an outline, and I will show you exactly what format the outline should follow. It needs to be 7 to 9 pages. This sounds like a lot, but once we go over everything that needs to be in it, I think you will see that it's not going to be that hard to write. You can just take it in little bites. There also has to be 7 to 9 approved secondary sources, and you should know what approved secondary sources are by now. If you use some that are not approved, I will not count them as part of your sources, and your grade will be negatively affected because of it. You have to have a lot of different kinds of sources. No more than 2 of the same type, so you couldn't have all newspapers or all magazines or all books or all approved internet articles. They have to be different kinds. At least one of them has to be a peer-reviewed journal, and you can find those in the library databases without much problem. Now, you can only use one source more than 3 times. I'm not as interested in knowing what somebody else thinks as what you think, backed up by somebody else's views. And it's going to have an annotated bibliography, and I've given you a handout on what an annotated bibliography is, or I will be giving you that. An annotated bibliography is basically everything you look at, not necessarily everything you use, but everything you look at and read. And it also is going to have 1 or 2 block quotations, but not any more than 2, because then you might go over the 15% and turn it in. You wouldn't want to do that. A little bit more on the overview. It has to do 3 things. And this is where I'm going to tell you how it's going to be easy for you to do the 7 to 9 pages. You're going to prove the problem exists in society. It could be drug abuse, spousal abuse, obesity, homelessness, hunger. It could be anything that society faces. Maybe it's unemployment. Maybe it's that our schools are not supported enough. Whatever you want it to be. You can use your imagination here, but make sure you can document the problem. You know, if you're going to try to prove that your people's toes need to be chopped off so that we can have shoes that are smaller, you're not going to have too much trouble. You're going to have a lot of trouble documenting that. So it has to be something that makes sense, and you can document it. I've had people do things that were a little bit ambiguous, like aimlessness. They said how we were just wandering around, and they tried to fix aimlessness. So you can use your imagination. The second part is to do a causal analysis of the problem. So you could do about 2.5, 3 pages proving the problem exists, and then do a causal analysis. Why? Is it because people should have gone to school longer? Is it because there's a myriad of causal analysis problems that you can do, and you'll learn more about that as we go, because you will study it in the textbook also of how to do a causal analysis. And the third part is a solution, and also in your text you will be learning a little bit more about how to do a solution to the problem. So you're going to prove how other people tried to fix it, how it didn't work, and then how you're going to fix it, and it's going to make things awesome. So the title, introduction, and thesis. As in the other essays, the title and introduction have 2 purposes: catch the reader's attention and introduce a subject. So you need concrete detail in the introduction. Catch my attention. Prove to me the problem exists. The thesis is usually, again, in the end of the first paragraph. But in this one, it can be either implied or explicit. If it's explicit, you could follow this format. Hunger is a problem in the high desert. It's caused by many different things, but if we work together, we can at least start to fix it. If it's implied, just introduce the problem, but then make very sure you use clear transitions when you move to the causal analysis and proposal part of the essay. So when you prove a problem exists, make sure that you have a problem that has no proven cause or effect. We are looking for things that we can speculate on. The best way to find outside resources for this is CQ Researcher and the BBC databases, library database. That stands for Congressional Quarterly Research, and it's the Congress hires people to go out and prove a problem exists so that they can throw money at it in a bill and fix it. You may also do field research. Probably it depends on the social climate whether you could do that, but you could see the problem in your community. If you chose homelessness, you could visit one of the homeless shelters if you want to do that. You must show the problem exists on a large scale, percentages, history, and so forth. Be careful with history. Don't just give me 3 pages of history. It's got to have a purpose. You must also show the problem exists on an individual basis. You can use interviews here. It's a great place to use pathos in your essay. If there's some problem that you have had from society, you could use you as an individual that you're going to prove that proves the problem exists. Then you're going to do a causal analysis. Speculate on several causes of the problem and then narrow your analysis to a single cause. Makes it easier to propose a solution if you say there's one major cause. You can also use secondary sources and your own logical analysis of the situation. Be thinking critically here. Your proposal part, present more ways people have tried to solve the problem and analyze why they did or did not work. Maybe some parts of it worked and some parts of it didn't. Check and see. And then present your awesome solution in detail. Especially explore the cost as well as the effectiveness of the solution for both society as a whole and the individuals within the society. And then overcome objections. Some people may say your solution won't work because, but they fail to see. So see, if you do all those things, you're going to end up without having any problem at all getting 7 to 9 pages. Your conclusion gives a sense of closure. As always, does not summarize or add new ideas. It may be a frame and mention the introduction. If you talked about Sally down the street in the introduction, you're going to say how your proposal is going to fix Sally's problem. And it's often a call to action. We should all get busy and implement your solution to make the world a better place. Now, your draft and conference, the more time you spend revising, the better your essay will be. I would encourage you to use the Writing Center to give you input on your draft before you schedule your conference with me. And we will have a conference, just one-on-one, a Zoom conference to go over your research paper with me. I'll need to have a copy of your essay at that time so you can upload it to me. And we'll spend about 15 minutes going over your essay, and I'll give you my suggestions. Then you can do the minor revisions and turn it in on or before the due date. And that is it.